Okay, okay, I'm actually really excited. Hi, loves. I'm Fix, and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is 2020 Fix. Now, I did go back and forth with the name, okay? 2026 is not going to last forever. However, I was also thinking 2020 perfect vision, hindsight, and a lot of what I'm talking about on this channel is basically learnings and lessons from my past experience. So, hindsight 2020. Look, we'll see how far we can take it. I also decided that 2026 would be a my year, honey. Okay? So, this is 2020 Fix. Welcome. Who am I and why have I chosen to do this? I'm an actress who caught the entrepreneurship bug a couple of years ago, and after a series of failures, turned to meditation, neuroscience, and personal development to cope instead of food, alcohol, maybe a smattering of drugs, which were my choice of coping before. But I am obsessed with personal transformation. So currently, I live in Johannesburg, South Africa. I have been living here for about a year. Before then, I lived in New York City for 10 years, which was a little long. It wasn't part of the plan. I was supposed to get my degree and come back and continue with my illustrious acting career. But just to back it up, as of this recording, I am 36 years old. I'm single. I have no kids, but at the time, I was engaged to be married. I kind of wish I was engaged on like a phone call, but I was engaged to be married. And I ended up getting married 6 months later. And me and my husband at the time were involved in a little bit of a mess, honey, a little bit of drama in South Africa. So it felt safe for me to be and stay in the United States. Um, so that's why I stayed longer. There were other reasons too. Oh, by the way, if you're here for the gossip, if you're here for the tea, if you're here for the scandal, you're in the wrong place because I'm not here to victimize myself. I'm not here to blame anybody. Yes, my marriage ended. Everybody knows. And I'll talk about it. I will. But you know how they say that only two people know what happened in a relationship? Sometimes even in that marriage, the two people don't know. Okay, so just consider that for a second. Why did I move back to Johannesburg after 10 years in New York? Well, I failed. I failed at pretty much everything I had set out to do. I got my degree though. I did get my degree. I did do that. But as soon as I graduated, really, I couldn't work. I didn't have a green card. I didn't have papers to work in the United States. So that was almost like an immediate fail. And it was tough watching my American classmates go on to do TV shows and theater and like be great. And then, yes, a couple of years later, my marriage crashed and burnt, fell out of the sky, hit rock bottom, exploded in my face, basically failed as well. That was tough. And then a couple of years later, my business failed. I started a business during the pandemic, and that came to a screeching halt as well. And I think any of those three things are enough to make a person like question, what the hell am I doing on this planet? Oh, and by the way, I also filed for bankruptcy. So my life was a shit show. And that's where the show begins, where everything ends. Oh, and by the way, this is not my first rodeo on YouTube. In 2013, I had a vlog, honey. It was called The Hate Post. Not actual hate, it was actually H and the number 8. And I would just go on and rant.
Just when you think there's some fucking things that are fucking below you, like, fighting with a car god, then you go and fight with a car god.
And I really wish I had continued because you look at people like Mr. Beast and Jackie Iana, people who have built incredible personal brands by just showing up. But at the time, I was not as well versed in this life thing as I am now. I got too famous, darling. quite literally, I actually did get famous. I ended up getting a role on a big TV show, soap opera called It's a Dingo, The Need on SABC3. And I left my little vlog because I was now nationally famous. I really did do some things. I remember hauling my ass over to Cliff Central, which was Gareth Cliff's new podcasting platform, and interviewing people there. I did the vlog thing, but then I also felt like I was too controversial. I was talking about stuff like how GMOs are bad for you.
Right now, this whole GMO thing is getting out of control. GMO, genetically modified foods. Moving to a country like South Africa, where GMO is just the order of the day, it's just scary.
And I remember once I had a hating comment saying that I was a dumb bitch and that I didn't know what I was talking about when I was complaining about GMOs in food and how genetically modified foods were feeding poor Africans and they were essential. And I was stupid and I needed to shut up. And that scared me.
But what's actually going into the food? Like, who's behind that chicken?
I also wanted Mandela to be played by a South African actor instead of Idris Elba, though I love Idris Elba.
Idris Elba, that nigga's fine. Idris played the lead. He played the role of Mandela.
Things like that. So not very controversial, but I was so afraid of getting myself canceled because I cared too much about what people thought about me. In fact, my dad sent me a text to be like, why are you running your mouth on the internet? You are like Kanye Bao. And at the time, I was so offended. Oh my God, he has just insulted me. Kanye Bao? Meanwhile, if someone called me Kanye Bao or compared me to her in any way today, I'd probably go over there and give them a hug and ask them if I could get them bananas at the grocery store or something. Anyway, that was my first, what word am I looking for? My first jive with YouTube. My second one was promoting a web series called Tech Bay about a Black woman who had started a dating app.
Yes.
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 No. Yes. As in like, yes. Like that.
So Black women in tech, which is crazy. And we've come so full circle because I am now the CEO of a new South African dating app. More on that later. In the third iteration of my YouTube career, this is 2020 Fiks. So about the time I was graduating from NYU, I started getting very curious about success. I also started getting around a lot of successful people that looked like me, like Black African women, because Tech Bay was about a woman who started this tech company, and I got a lot of support. And the people were successful, and I would just look at them like, wow, how are you like me? And you're so successful and you make so much money. And the conclusion I reached was that I just wasn't special enough. I wasn't one of the chosen ones. They had made the right decisions. I had made some kind of a wrong turn somewhere along the way, and now I was on this path. I was going in the wrong direction and picking up speed, Jesus. And there was nothing I could do about it. I was trapped. And now I have the vocabulary to say I was on the wrong timeline. It's like Sarah Blakely saying I was in the wrong movie. Yeah, of course you were. You weren't supposed to be selling photocopy machines when you could be selling Spanx to the rest of the world that really needed them. So I was just not chosen. But I always had this like escape hatch at the back of my head, like, it's okay, like fix you. Even though acting is kicking you in the butt, a man will come and save you. You're pretty, like that's just how I thought things would work out. Someone would come and save me and take me under their wing and support me and provide for me while I figured my life out. And I dated a lot of successful men, not to mention I thought I had dated my own Prince Charming. I got the status, I got to be somebody and to feel safe. But by the end of that marriage, I felt like a nobody. I felt like a nothing, no status, and I felt the most unsafe I've ever felt in my entire life. So that didn't work. And yeah, sleeping with successful people does not make you successful. Shock horror. So what does? Hmm? What does? I felt like such an abject failure. Oh, and my agent dropped me. My manager called me and she was like, I'm having a baby. And I am shedding my list of talent. And you're not one of the ones that I'm taking with me. The fuck? I was like part of the 1%, okay? I went to NYU grad acting. What was wrong with me? Because that's the logical conclusion, right? Like everyone who's around you is successful. What is wrong with me? I felt broken. I felt like there was something fundamentally useless about me. I felt so unlucky. And I feel like that's why I also waited in New York for so long. I was A, waiting for a man to save me, and B, waiting to get lucky. Or both, right? And now I know that luck is created from the inside out. That has nothing to do with what happens externally and everything to do with your mind. Cue my obsession with personal transformation because there was something in me that knew that it was up to me and that I could do it. And that is what this channel is about. How I picked up the pieces after my life crumbled. And if I can share some nuggets of wisdom, peace, entertainment, honey, because my stories and me are pretty entertaining. If you haven't checked out my Instagram, follow me at Fikilimtwalo. But yeah, if I can, ooh, that cloud is shaped as a man. Am I really that thirsty? Hold on. It's like, it's a man. Well, that is a man. Anyway, yes, okay, yes, I'm entertaining. My stories are entertaining, but ultimately, I want to help. I want to teach. I want to share what I've learned with meditation, neuroscience, all these wonderful things about our subconscious mind, about how to change your life. My life is not the same. I am not the same woman that I was 10 years ago, and I am so grateful. And I'm also grateful for my stint in New York City, even though things didn't work out the way I wanted them to. They forged me into the woman that I am today. And I love the woman that I am today. And I love you. Thank you so much for tuning in. You're so welcome. This is 2020 Fix. The man's gone, as they do. As they do. The nigga ghosted into a fucking cloud. Yeah, you know what? I obviously have some limiting beliefs to work on around that, and we will talk about that too. Oh, now I see a dolphin.